if my elder, right, for whom is defined as, let me look it up, of an earlier birth or greater age, right, do not understand, for which is defined as to grasp the meaning of my understanding, for which is defined as a mental grasp of the situation, right? Then how can they counsel me, right? So if I was born and then my enemy or whatever came against me, and I was born with rights that my mother and father didn't have, then if my mother and father don't believe in the rights that I was born with, then my mother and father would then take that inheritance away from me because of their ignorance. See, because they understand what they understand, but I was born under a different understanding, but it was written. See, people don't change their understanding overnight, but over generations, time should change to the laws that gave time the opportunity to change. And that's what I'm telling these elders who keep telling us, well, telling me that they not gonna change. And I'm saying, but you not changing, man. If you don't, and then this what gets me, right? Their generation, which is the generation before my generation, because my freedom is only 4.5 years older than me, right? So if my mother was 19 years older than me, then that means she was 15.5 years older than her freedom, than my freedom. So if I was born with freedoms my mother didn't have, that means my mother was born learning how not to be free. She didn't have the rights that I was born with. So what I'm saying is, what is the difference between when you was December 31st, 1862, right? And July 1st, 1964. What is the difference? It was a point in the next morning, history was going to correct itself, because on December 31st in 1862, our ancestors were slaves. On January 1st, 1863, the 16th president of the United States of America put out an Emancipation Proclamation freeing our ancestors. Now, did that change everybody's mind? No. They had to fight a war for almost 2 years, over 2 years, for that Emancipation Proclamation to grow into what we squandering to this day. See, that's progress, right? But if the elders, see, that's the heads, if they don't agree on the agreement, then they got their own sex, and that's why it's not working. You see what I'm saying? Because your elder is not trusting the other person. See, and then the body suffer. See, that's what's going on in Congress right now, right? They steady getting paid to stop us from getting help. See, say the Republicans say, well, we not gonna vote because y'all, that's like childish, man. But we out here suffering, but yet we steady paying taxes, and they steady getting paid to fight a war. See, that's what they're fighting is a civil war. And they Democrats and Republicans, just like it was the North and the South, just like it was the red coats and the Union. See, it's the same, man. And it's the same fight. They just done moved it to the court, to Washington D.C. But we still fighting in the streets because we don't have nothing. See, that's what they call piss poor leadership. So think about this, right? How can a man, right, lead the country if the man don't lead his family? See, because it says God, country, and family. So if the man, how can the man, see, this is what I'm telling y'all about my situation, right? I'm saying I'm my God, right? I had to defend my country with my rights. And then at the same time, I had to defend my wife and my daughter and my son's inheritance with my rights that was backed by my truth, because I'm the only person that actually knew what was true. See, even my wife had a doubt because you saw the fall, but you didn't see the preparation for the takeoff. See, okay, say if I had to be as wise as the serpent, right? Then wouldn't I be after the ignorant? Because if I had to go to court where they have taken the Civil War that they fought over slavery, right? And they have taken it into a debate, right? But now the slaves for whom was once slaves are now either Democrats or Republicans. See what I'm saying? So where is America in that? See, they don't say they the United States of America. They say they are Republican. What is that? Does that mean you're not American? So that's why you're arguing over your ideology and the Democrat arguing over their ideology, but we in the middle suffering while they eating at the best restaurants. See what I'm saying? Like they got the caravans. I mean, they like Caesar, right? They like the Pope. The president come around, we out here starving, man. We starving, and they driving and they rolling in the best. And they the symbols of America. But what are we? Like, what is the body of America, which is her people? We out here homeless, man. And we claim to be the richest country in the world, man. And poverty is running rampant, but the heads of state is looking like kings. But y'all out here talking against me, the man who they took everything from, and then you tell me about your belief in Jesus, or your belief in the Prophet Muhammad, or your belief in Allah, or your belief in God. But then you get mad with me when I tell you I believe in me. And I'm saying, but you believe outside yourself, but yet you mad with me for believing in myself. And yet you say I'm crazy, but you go and pray for help. So that means you got a problem, but you don't believe you can handle the problem. But now you mad at me for handling the problem, but not leaving you in the dark about the problem. But you say that I'm coming to get you to help me. But I'm saying, look at the evidence, man. So now, think about this. If I have to be as wise as the serpent, right? Now, wouldn't I have to be as humble as you to you? And once I humble myself to you, now wouldn't everything that people be saying about me be hearsay? Let me show you what the definition of, the legal definition of hearsay. This the no-lo definition of hearsay. Testimony given by a witness who is not telling what he or she knows personally, but what others have said. Now, hold on. Wouldn't Jesus, see, this is what I'm saying. Now, you coming to me with Jesus's testimony. You coming to me with the Prophet Muhammad's testimony. But the Bible say that you would be saved by the blood of the Lamb, whether if you believe in the Old Testament, that's the blood that Moses told the Israelites to get from a lamb less than a year old, and you take the blood, but you eat every bit of the lamb. He said, don't waste any of it, right? And he said, then take the blood and put it over your door, right? Now, that means that you was obedient to Moses, right? So if you didn't do it, then your disobedience, you paid the price for it. Now, so if your testimony is backed by Moses' sacrifice of the lamb, then you supposed to be freed because of that testimony. So, but if you're bringing the Prophet Muhammad's testimony, then the Prophet Muhammad is being freed. But what about your actions that got you speaking on behalf of the Prophet Muhammad, but not speaking on behalf of yourself? See, what is your truth? You're telling the Prophet Muhammad's truth, or you're telling the prophets in the Bible's truth. But now you on trial, just like they was telling Jacob that he, even when he changed his name to Israel, then they even started saying, Israel, see, you're going to be brought to judgment. See what I'm saying? Now, because Israel multiplied his understanding into a nation, now his nation, who is using his testimony against my testimony, is now being brought to trial to testify to how you've been taking money from Esau's descendants. See, that's what's happening, because it all goes back to either Adam, so you either stealing, you Cain descendants, and you keep killing Abel, see, because Adam's tree is from a murderous root, see, that goes back to deception. Then, so either you from Adam and you a murderer, see, so that's why you had to carry your cross on Calvary. Then either you Jacob, who is a deceiver, see what I'm saying? Because him and his mama conspired to take Esau's blessing. So see, either you a conceiver, then therefore you are Israelite. See, because you're taking the inheritance of my children, just like your father and your mother conspired against Isaac to take away Esau's inheritance, like you all doing me. So see, it's like it's a spiritual battle between two liars. One of them is a murderer that comes from the seed of Adam that came to fruition in Genesis 3 when the devil impregnated Eve with a lie, and that lie gave birth to Cain, who killed his brother. See, so the lie created a murder, and the murderer name is Cain, and the murderer name is Adam. That was Abel. That was the person that a lie murdered. So now, was Abel God in the flesh? If he was the accepted son, then he had to be the first Jesus. If his brother hated him like the spiritual father hated Jesus, understand, Jesus was hated by the high priest Caiaphas. That's the spiritual father of the Hebrews of the time of Jesus. So now, look at this. Look at the scenario. They were saying they was Abraham's seeds. They're Israelites. Therefore, they killers. They're stealers of the promise. It goes back to the Old Testament.